Before trying to put the LBins into the barrier system, operators should first practice a setup similar to the following. Within this drawing, the barriers are recreated with plastic bollards as the bump stops and the witches' hats to ensure the loader goes straight on. The following is a demonstration of the LBin being picked up within the practice barriers. The loader should come on square to the hitches with the head rolled forward until it makes contact. When contact is made, the loader head can be lifted so it engages into the top hooks. Once the loader head is securely hooked into the hitches, the loader should continue to rise up until the LBin is off the ground. Once the LBin is off the ground, the head and the LBin should be rolled backwards. The loader head and the LBin should continue to roll back until you can see the front leading edges of the LBin. It is important to roll the LBin back as it allows the operator to see the leading edge corners as well as keeps any rubbish in the bin while it's being removed. When reversing from the bay, it is important to stay square on and look at the leading corners at all times. This way, you'll ensure that the front leading corners will never hit into the barriers when the bin is being removed. Now we will go through placing the LBin back on the ground. When coming into the bay, you want to make sure that the LBin is tilted back so you can see the front leading corners and that you are coming into the bay square on. Before dropping the bin, always ensure that the bottom pins are disengaged. Most machines will have an auto level feature that moves the bin flat before it's placed. When level, lower the head of the loader so that the top pins disengage from the hooks and the hitches. Once unhooked, lower the loader arms so that the top of the loader head is clear from the hitches. Then you'll be able to reverse. Travelling with the LBin. When travelling with the LBin, always keep the LBin tilted back so you can see the leading front edges. Whilst tilted back, the LBin should always be kept low to the ground so the operator can see in front of them at all times. Whilst travelling, the lower quick hitch pins don't need to be engaged. They only need to be engaged when transferring into a bulk bin. Keeping the pins disengaged is good practice as the LBin should never be placed with the pins engaged. Now we are ready to put the LBins into the actual barrier system. When approaching, make sure you can see the leading corners to ensure that you are square on when approaching the barriers. With the system shown, it has been retrofitted where there is a higher drop. With this, the LBin can be lifted high up so you can see the leading edge corners from the bottom. Within our system, the LBin is fitted with spring-loaded backstops and the barriers are fitted with spring-loaded yellow bump stops. Although you may be tempted to hit the backstops into the yellow bump stops, this shouldn't be the case. The spring-loaded stops are there as a last precaution. As you can see in the drawing below, the LBin should be placed 200 to 300mm away from the yellow bump stops. This is because when the LBin is picked up, it can be slightly moved forward when the LBins make contact on the hitches. Having this space allows the LBin to move slightly forward when being picked up without hitting into the barriers. Once the LBin is square within the bay, it can be auto-leveled flat. However, there should still be a gap between the floor and the LBin so you're not scraping the bin when pushing it in. Once the LBin is in position, first check that the lower pins have been disengaged. You can then start lowering the LBin down flat. Once the LBin is flat on the ground, you can continue lowering the loader arm until the hitches are disengaged. If the head isn't low enough, the top of the loader arm will catch onto the bottom of the hooks on the hitches, dragging the bin back out when reversing. Always ensure that the loader head is disengaged completely from the hooks before reversing. Once separation is clearly visible, the loader can then start reversing. When the LBin is safely in the bay, the gates can be opened for the public to enter. A recap on placing the LBin. Step 1. Ensure the front corners are always in sight. Step 2. Approach barriers square on. Step 3. Stop when the LBin is 200 meters away from bump stop. Step 4. Ensure pins are always disengaged. Step 5. Auto level out the LBin. Step 6. Slowly lower the LBin, ensuring it's level. Step 7. Keep lowering the loader until the head is clear. And Step 8. When clear from the hooks, you're free to reverse out. Before removing the LBin, make sure all rubbish has been swept and cleared into the LBin. From there, the gates can be closed and the bin closed off from the public. After closing the gates, radio the machine operator to let them know the LBin is safe to take away. The LBin should never be removed without prior confirmation. When picking up the LBin, first make sure that the loader head is rolled forward and underneath the hooks. Once underneath, raise the loader head so that it catches into the top of the hooks. Once caught, the loader head can be crowned or rolled back so the LBin is lifted off the ground. Continue rolling the loader head back until you can see the front edges of the LBin. For this site, because of its height, continue rolling the LBin head until you get to the usual travelling tilt. This way, it keeps the load secured and in the bin. When travelling with the LBin, and before transferring into a larger bulk bin, ensure that the quick hitch pins are engaged. From there, roll the head of the bin forward so that the lip is over the bulk transfer bin. If rubbish is stuck, shake the bin back and forth or up and down slightly, and with the help of the finger grating at the back of the bin, the rubbish will be dislodged. Picking up the LBin recap. Step 1. Approach the barriers and hooks square on. Step 2. Roll the loader head forward. Step 3. Move the loader under till it is touching the hooks. Step 4. When underneath the hooks, lift the loader head up so it gets caught in the hooks. Step 5. When the loader is caught in the hooks, roll the head backwards. Step 6. Ensure that the loader head is rolled back enough so the LBin is secure. From there, you can reverse out of the bay. Step 7. When travelling, ensure that the pins are always engaged.